Welcome to Socialize! Thanks for hanging out with us on the
Big Bag
Couch.
Couch.
Make sure
We're
you
reading
We're reading.
A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig.
It's an international bestseller.
Of course, I know.
And the
I've always
movie,
been saying it.
and the movie's coming out on.
With an illustration by Chris Mould.
The movie's coming out on November 24th on Netflix.
Shout out to you guys.
Smash the like button if you like our show so far.
Shout
Hit
out
that
to
subscribe
me.
button and click the notification bell to make sure that you are
This is
notified
the
when the
this-
next chapter is released.
This is the notification bell. Hit it.
Ding. No, click it. Ding. All right. Chapter number 24.
Shout out to Matt Haig and to Chris Mould.
Chapter number 24. Something
If I'm
good.
saying Chris Mould, right?
All right, who's reading first? Rock, paper, scissors, bam. Boom.
No.
I'm on the clock. Nicholas lay awake, staring up at the full moon for a long time. As he was drifting off to sleep, he heard a noise, no more than a whisper, lost in the wind. He looked up and saw his father slowly pushing the sleigh towards him and away from the camp. The elf couldn't have been very heavy because the sleigh was moving easily. Little Kip was inside the cage, silent and wide-eyed, holding onto the bars. "What are you doing?" whispered Nicholas. Joel put a finger on his lips, then took the rope harness he'd been using to pull the sleigh off his shoulders and went over to Blitzen to put it on. It put it over his head. Nicholas couldn't believe it. "I knew you were going to try and free the elf," said Joel, "which is really a terrible idea, by the way. Really, really terrible. But it is Christmas, and your birthday, and you're still my son. And I want you to stay alive. So help me." Nicholas leaned towards Blitzen. "Stay calm," he said, in a voice so quiet the reindeer might not even have heard him. Blitzen slowly got up and stood stock still as they put the harness over him. The fire had died now, and the men were still sleeping their drunken sleep. Nicholas felt nervous, but also strangely happy and relieved. His father still had goodness in him after all. One of the men, maybe Toivo, though it was too dark and distant to tell, rolled over and grumbled a little. Nicholas and Joel held their breath and waited for him to settle. The harness was on. "Okay, we're ready," whispered Joel as the wind dropped. It was as if the forest was straining to listen to their plans. "Now, get on your reindeer and fly away." "Papa, please come with us." "No, I'll slow you down. Blitzen's strong and fast. You could be on the sleigh making sure little Kip is okay. You can't stay here. They'll kill you." Toivo? Yes, it was definitely Toivo. His long, skinny frame moving as he lay in the dark was clearly visible now. Nicholas had never seen his father this frightened before. Even when faced with the bear, and the fear he saw on his father's face quickened Nicholas's heart. "All right," said Joel. "I'll get on the sleigh. We've got to go. Quick." Nicholas climbed on Blitzen's back. Then he leaned forward, whispered to the reindeer's ear, "Come on, boy, as fast as you can. Get out of here." Now Toivo was properly awake. He was kicking at the boots of the other men and urging them to wake up. "They're escaping." Blitzen heaved towards the clear line between the trees, struggling as he switched from walk to trot. "Come on, Blitzen. You can do it, boy. Come on. It's Christmas Day. Use your magic." Nicholas heard a strange, hushed whistle. To his horror, he saw an arrow speeding through the air. He ducked, saving his head by a fraction. Blitzen was having difficulty breaking into a gallop. With the weight of the sleigh and the cage, and little Kip, and Joel and Nicholas, a second arrow whooshed by. Blitzen gained speed, but not enough. The trees were too close together. He weaved dangerously through them. Nicholas, holding on for dear life, turned to see the sledge tilt to the left, nearly tipping Joel off. Nicholas could hardly think, his brain a chaos of trees and speed and fear. Arrows and stones were now flying through the air, and then the very worst thing of all happened. Nicholas heard a scream behind him, an agonized howl which tore through the night. He turned to see his father, who was standing at the very edge of the sleigh, with a pierce of thin, feathered wood jutting out from his shoulder. Blood was already leaking out onto the patchwork shirt. "Papa!" Nicholas cried as another arrow whistled by his ear. Then Nicholas felt Blitzen's weight pressing upwards. It was happening. But as they started to leave the ground, a rock from the catapult hit Blitzen's chest. Perhaps it was the shock or the pain, but he weakened momentarily. He tried to tilt back and lift higher as they went over the men's head. But Nicholas could see they were in trouble. They were going into the trees and not over them. His face was whipped by the snowy branches, and he choked on pine needles as arrows continued to fly by, streaking black lines in the dark. "Come on, Blitzen!" cried Nicholas, urging the reindeer to defy gravity. But poor Blitzen was struggling. He crashed back to the earth, but kept galloping, trying to lift off again. "It's too heavy," moaned Joel in agony as his hand clutched his shoulder. Nicholas knew his father was right, but he noticed that the trees up ahead were thinning. "It'll be all right," shouted Nicholas. "Come on, Blitzen!" Nicholas felt Blitzen's feet tread on nothing but air, a soft floating upward, but still it was no good. His body was tight with effort, and the sleigh was dragging them back down. Nicholas tried to see his own magic. Fear had turned his mind into a cyclone of thoughts, so he couldn't hold a wish for long before it flew away like a paper in the wind. "You don't understand," shouted Joel. "The ravine! The river!" And then Nicholas understood. It wasn't just the trees that stopped ahead of them. It was the land, too. It disappeared into nothing, like a horizon that was too close, too low. They were only meters away from a deep, deep, dark drop towards the river. You won't be able to cross. The only way to fly," shouted Joel. "It's too heavy." But Nicholas wasn't giving in. With every nerve in his body, with every molecule inside of him, he hoped and prayed and urged the magic, his own and Blitzen's, to work. "Come on, Blitzen! Come on, boy! You can fly! You can do it!" The reindeer rose again into the air, but only slightly. They crashed onto more branches. Joel was holding tightly onto the cage now. Nicholas heard little Kip whimper in fear. "Oh no," said the elf. "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no." "I'm weighing you down," said Joel. "I'm going to jump." The words ripped at Nicholas's teeth. No, the words ripped at Nicholas like teeth. "No, no, Papa, don't." He turned around. Joel's face was full of another kind of pain now. The pain of a farewell. "No! I love you, Nicholas," he yelled. "I want you to remember me for something good." "No, Papa! It will be..." They were right at the edge now. Nicholas felt it. Before he saw it, the sudden lightning, the quickening of Blitzen's pace as Joel let go of the cage and fell to the ground below. Nicholas's tears bursting from his eyes, saw his father curled up in the snow, getting smaller and smaller, and finally disappearing. Sad, eh? Yeah, that was a sad part. In the darkness.
In the darkness, just as his mother had disappeared into the darkness of the well, Nicholas felt terrified and dawned on him. He was all alone in the world now. Blitzen, with a lighter load, and determined to take his cargo to safety, soared high above the ravine, fast and strong, away into the sky.
Oh, yeah, that. He lost his mother now, and his father.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We never saw the picture.
Yeah, we gotta show the picture of that one. Yeah, it's just a picture of the snowy felt ground, the ravine.
It was so sad.
That's a sad one. Yeah, that's a sad one. Sky's gone. It's okay. You'll be alright, Huggy. Alright, guys. That's chapter number 24. Something good. Wasn't that good? It's kind of sad.
Why did it say that was good?
I don't know why. But we'll see you guys in the next episode.